can I talk? Can I start? We're going to talk about tariffs because I was so frustrated, Michael. I don't know what is going on with the media when I started watching, when I started to dial back in a little bit, and they started saying there is a tariff deal. And I was looking at it. I'm like, there is no deal. This is
Okay,
not a
can
deal.
we break it down a little bit? First, let's start
Yes,
with that bullshit press conference with the UK with
Scott
Keir
Bessent.
Starmer and with and I'm sitting there and I'm saying to myself, let me be very clear. Out of the alleged 200 countries, and I think that there's only like 190, but out of the countries that the United States currently trades with, one of the few in the entire world that we have a trade surplus with, we make more money off them than they make off of us, happens to be the UK.
Right.
So the question that I would like to ask is, why would you beat down on somebody who you're making money on? Because if you listen to Trump and his administration, whether it's Bessent or Lutnick or the other clowns, and they sit there and they say, they've been ripping us off. We've been ripped off like nobody's ever seen before. No one's ever seen. We've been ripped off. We're technically on that same belief. We're ripping off the UK.
Right.
And so all of a sudden, here they come. This is the first announcement. This is the major bigly announcement that they want to put out there. I don't know who the hell is running the joint there, but whatever it is, and whoever's advising Trump, they're doing a real shit job. They're making him look foolish.
Not only making it, well, he doesn't need any help with that. Of course, we both know that. But they're not helping in that department. When I heard Scott Bessent, I think I was driving to the airport on Sunday, and I heard him saying, I'll leave the details for Monday morning, and we'll announce it. And I said, they don't have a deal. They're just going to extend this, and it's actually worse. They're worse off now than before, even before he even put the tariffs on. They're worse than before wherever they were in the beginning, wherever China and the U.S. were in the beginning. They're worse off now because he has totally fucked up the economy. Right? He screwed over the stock market. He screwed over Americans. He used Americans as collateral. He screwed over people's 401ks and their retirement, and prices are going up. And then now I don't understand, why is the media playing this as a win, and why do they go along with everything he has to say? And I think you'll agree that he made it worse. He took a bad situation, if you want to say what China is doing to us and whatever the trade is, and he made it worse. Michael, am I wrong? By the way, smash those hearts, right?
Yeah, please smash those hearts and the box next to it with the arrow up. Share this with your friends so that the algorithm kicks in.
Right on.
That's helpful, by the way, because the goal is to grow this community and all of the communities that are pro-democracy, so that we can ensure a massive blue wave in 2026. In my Substack that I wrote about this morning, where I talk about the infomercial presidency now hits Riyadh. Let me be clear, and you've heard me say it, Don. I used to say it on your show, and I've said it on to many journalists in the past. In 2015, Trump used to say, when we were first entering into the campaign cycle, that this is going to be the greatest infomercial in the history of US politics. Well, he's not lying, because that's what's going on right now. This is one gigantic infomercial within which to do what? To bring more branding deals and more benefit to Trump and to his company. That's all that's going on right now. You're so right when you say that he made it better and now he's trying to bring it back. You know what they call that in psychology? That's Munchausen by proxy.
You meant he made it worse.
Yes, he
You meant
made
he
it
made it
worse to
worse.
try to make it better, which is exactly like Munchausen by proxy. That Munchausen by proxy is where, for example, you make your kids sick, so in that way you could save them, and then you become the hero. There is no hero here. And by the way, when they turn around, now all of a sudden, when the stock market was tanking like shit, it was Joe Biden's fault. Now that the market is on its way back, it had a great day yesterday and a semi-good day today. All of a sudden, it's a major success. It's a major win. I want to remind you that at the time of the inauguration, and we use that as a baseline because that's the economy that Joe Biden left to this administration, the stock market was still higher.
The stock market was still higher, and all of the levers and everything that the Biden administration put in place, those were all working. And then the Trump people came in and screwed them up. I just don't. Well, I guess I do understand because it's a cult. Why many folks in this country, the Donald Trump supporters, I don't understand why they're not pissed off because they are having to. They've got the cost of living is worse. Before the election, they were, people on the street were telling me, oh, Biden is so bad with the economy. I had more money under Trump. I would love to be able to go back just to some of those men on the street, men and women on the street, and talk to them now and say, how do you feel? Do you have more money in your pocket now?
Right.
Are things better? Perhaps they would probably come up with an excuse, Michael, because they have the MAGA brain, which is the cult. I don't know, what would you call it? Cultitis, or Trumpitis. They're the true Trump derangement syndrome people, and I just wonder how those people will feel now.
Well, clearly they can't be feeling too good. I don't know how many more times that people like Don Lemon, aka D Lemonade, has to go ahead and sing right to you the fact that consumers pay taxes. We pay tariffs, right? It's just that simple. Consumers pay tariffs. In fact, I don't know if you saw this, but the other day they got Lindsey Graham to turn around, and he came out and he said emphatically, consumers pay the tariffs. He said that when they were asking him a series of questions, including this emoluments issue on a $400 million aircraft that is being given to Trump as a gift from the Qatari government. And I want to remind people that it was the Qataris that have been sponsoring and financing Hamas. So there's so many people in Congress, including members of the GOP, that are scratching their head and saying, wait. You realize that would be the biggest gift any government has ever given, forget about the United States. It's the biggest gift by a multiple ever given to any president in the history of this country.
Yeah. Well, let's not talk about, look, put aside the ethical issues. Let's put aside the constitutional issues, the emoluments, all of those things. What about the security? What about the security concerns? If someone is gifting you a jet, do you know what's in it? What kind of tracking devices could be in it? Do you know, what they have done to the equipment? All kinds of things. Why would you accept? And I think he probably will. If he doesn't accept this as president, he's definitely going to accept it once he leaves office, right?
No. I'm sorry, D. Lemon. Hold on, brother.
What?
He's already acknowledged that this is a gift to him. The way that they're going to do it to try to get around the emoluments, because they've really thought this one out, the Qatari government is going to gift a $400 million aircraft, a 747-8 Boeing aircraft that, I don't know if you've seen the inside pictures, it is a floating palace.
Yeah,
the way they're doing it, the Qatari government is going to gift it to the Department of Defense. Now, you may say to yourself, why would they do that? Well, if I may, our dear subscribers and listeners, who is the Secretary of the DOD? Oh, yeah, the lapdog Pete Hegseth. And then prior to Trump leaving office in 2028, the Department of Defense is going to sign that aircraft over to Trump via some entity, which will be like a Trump library entity that he will be able to use personally, right? And to own it. And then he'll ultimately donate it to his own library. This is absolutely fascinating that they probably have spent more time discussing how he's going to keep this $400 million aircraft than he has about talking to people about tariffs.
Oh my gosh, he wants that airplane, right? And he isn't going to pay for it, and he's probably going to get that airplane. But just the idea of it, someone in the chat said it is obscene. It really is obscene. Whoever said that in the chat, the level of corruption is staggering. Says Jazz and Laughter. Library, LOL. Does he read books? Says Agent 99. And Cheyenne says so corrupt. It really is corrupt. There should be no question if something like that happens. They should say no, thank you. I can't do that. It's an ethical issue.
By
Who
the way,
wouldn't like to have a
yeah, D, I forgot, you're from Louisiana, right?
yeah,
All right. How do you explain that idiot senator that you have? What's his name? John Neely
Jo-
Kennedy?
John Kennedy?
Yeah. Did you
You
hear
mean
his
you mean
comments?
a marble mouth of a guy who talks like
Is
this?
there really?
He didn't always talk like that, right? That's an affect. He
How
puts
come
that
you
on.
don't talk like that?
Because most people from Louisiana don't talk that way. There are some people who have accents there, but not everybody sounds like this and that. That when he does that, it's an affect because he went to an Ivy League school and he didn't always talk like that. So that is one that he is pulling over on his constituents because he wants them to think that he's real Southern like they are.
You know who he sounds like? The guy from Waterboy. You know? You know?
Yeah, but most people from Louisiana, most people from New Orleans sound like this. Like they don't talk like him. They talk like this. And because they, hey, hey, baby, how you doing over there? That's how they talk. They don't talk like this. That is put on. He's making that up. I don't
Did
know
you
anybody from
hear?
Louisiana who sounds
Did you
like
hear
that.
what this idiot D Lemonade said? He turned around and he goes, "Yeah. What about when France gave the United States the Statue of Liberty?" Well, let me be very clear. They had Norm Eisen on CNN this morning, and they asked him a similar question: "Is this a violation of the emoluments?" He goes, "It wouldn't be an emoluments violation if the United States was receiving this aircraft. The same way it wasn't an emoluments issue when France gave the Statue of Liberty to the United States. It would become an emoluments issue if Donald Trump planned on taking the Statue of Liberty for himself. That's the
Okay,
issue."
I get it, Mike. I get it, Mike. But here's my thing. What do you mean, is it an emoluments issue? That's the whole thing. The whole thing for me is like when I watch the media and they normalize this. Why are they framing it that way? It should be framed as this is an emoluments issue. There is no question about it. Let's bring on someone on to talk about why it's an emoluments issue. Why not ask, is it an emolument? If of course it's an emolument issue. Or is Donald Trump racist? Of course he's racist with the farmers. Is this a win for Donald or a win for Donald Trump? No, the tariffs are not a win for Donald Trump. It should be Donald Trump caved on taxes on tariffs, and it should be Donald Trump and what this administration is doing with those South Africa the Afrikaners is a flat out bold naked racist play. That's how it should be
And
framed.
Don,
There's no
why would you
question
say,
about it.
Don, why would you say to our, at least to our subscribers, that you think that this is racist?
Why do I think? I don't think it's racist. I'm saying I know it's racist. Look at the difference in how they treat even migrants. Migrants are not here illegally. And look at how they're providing no proof that even that any of the people that they have deported, rounded up and deported, they have provided no proof of their criminal history. Now, I'm sure some of those people are, all right? And no one is questioning and saying that those people should not be removed from the country. But there is this thing called due process, okay?
Yep.
And now you're fast tracking white people from South Africa after you have said we want to cut back and cut down on immigration and immigrants into this country. So we want these brown folks over here, we want to cut them off and slow them down, but we want to bring in the white people. And where do you think he got that idea from? This whole idea about genocide, that it's a white genocide in South Africa. we have been so careful, as we should, with that G word, the genocide word, right? Especially since October 7th. Because let me just read to you this. And this is what they're calling a genocide. Okay, so what are the claims of genocide? According to the BBC, figures from the South African police show that in 2024, 44 murders were recorded on farms and smaller plots of agricultural land, with 8 of those killed being farmers. Now, look, murders happen all the time. They shouldn't happen. All right, so 44 happened. South Africa is a big place. 8 of those killed were farmers belonging to multiple racial backgrounds, Michael. So are 8 deaths now considered a genocide? Because then we need to change the terms of genocide, and we need to tell the president and the administration to stop calling this genocide, just as people are upset, nervous, concerned, and careful about calling what's happening in Israel and Gaza a genocide.
Yeah. Look, that's the crazy thing. It's so blatant. Everything that he does, by the way, is blatant. And that's why, to our subscribers, to those that are joining us right now here on this incredible app, the Substack app,
To those who are smashing the hearts,
yeah, keep doing that. And again, with that little square with the arrow facing up, share this. So here's the thing. Are we going to do something about it? As I write in my Substacks all the time at the end, are we going to do it? Because no one person can do it alone. No two people like D Lemonade and I. We can't do it alone. We need you. Strength in numbers, strength in voice. My vote, Don's vote, great. That's 2 votes, 2 New York votes that will go against this administration and the machine come 2026. That's not enough to change the outcome. And that's why I ask everybody all the time, share this with your friends. Share this with your family. Get them to join so that our community is so big, so strong, so fucking loud that nobody can shut us up. That come 2026, like a blue fucking tsunami, we completely engulf these bastards. Why? Because you have issues like emoluments. You have, since Trump became president elect, the Trump organization has literally tripled their output in deals. Now, why do you think that these countries like Saudi Arabia or Qatar or the Emiratis, why are they doing the things that they're doing with and for Trump? Do you think it's because they like him? Or do you think that they know that it's a way to own him, to bribe him, to bring them? Remember, not too long ago, literally not too long ago, Trump was talking about how the Qatari government is a sponsor of terrorism, of Hamas, of
he said that they were a statewide sponsor of terrorism.
yes. And he was adamant that they have to stop, and we're going to force them to stop. All of a sudden now, what has changed? I ask you, tell me what has changed other than somebody offering a $400 million airplane as a gift. This is in your face. They're not even hiding it. And the stupid part of this administration, Don, is that had he kept his fucking mouth shut, like if I was still there, I would say, don't talk about the aircraft. Take your win, because right now he had 2 very significant wins that he should be riding based in order to increase his popularity, his underwater popularity. The release of Edon Alexander, the American Israeli that was taken by Hamas, presumed dead, now alive, and now back with his family. That under everybody's denominator should be considered a win. And whether it was done because of former Biden administration deals or what have you, I don't care. It happened under his administration. He gets the credit the same way. If it didn't go the right way, he would be the one at fault. And then also the demand for the reduction of prescription prices. I've been saying the same thing for years. My family that lives in Toronto, they pay $10. I pay 100. Why? I mean, it's absolutely, oh, it's socialized medicine. Government pays for it. Well, okay. I like the fact that they want to reduce it because that means that people who can't afford their medication will now have extra money in order to afford the medication they need and to pay for food.
Right.
Especially since it looks like they're going to be doing away with Social Security altogether, right? I mean, they need to, another bumper sticker that we need to do is don't touch Social Security, right? I mean, enough is enough already. But had he just taken those 2 wins, it would have been considered a very good week for him. But no, no. You got to put these fake press conferences on, the signings of bullshit executive orders. You got to talk about how you intend, and he's not hiding it, how you intend to take a $400 million fucking payoff. You know, before in his first term, when he had, for example, the Trump hotels and stuff, the Saudis used to take the whole hotel for like 2-3 days on a weekend, pay him a couple $1,000,000, and all of a sudden, you know, that was the grift. Now it's with these crypto tokens, right? Where you don't even know where this money is coming from, to the hundreds of millions of dollars, a $400 million aircraft. If you are the biggest buyer of Trump crypto token, you will have a private meeting. You will get a chance to have a private one-on-one dinner meeting with the president. Does something not sound fundamentally wrong and corrupt here? Or is it just me?
No, I think it's just you, Michael.
Yeah, I thought so.
Okay. No, seriously though, think about it. Let's just think about this. Think, first of all, how embarrassing it is that we have a president that sells crypto coins and what are the other things that he sells? Meme
NFTs,
coins, MFT,
NFTs,
all these things, and he's hawking.
Bibles,
Isn't he hawking watches and Bibles
watches,
and
and
all?
guitars.
And like on, and he does it, and he's like, and he's the face of it. He's not ashamed of it. He's proud of it. And so he is blatantly appealing and has lowered himself to the level of basically a snake oil salesman, which he's always been. So this should not surprise anyone. It should not surprise you, especially since you worked for the guy, that he's a snake oil salesman. Everything is like a real estate deal. Look, that right there, my friends, that is the best window with the best view that you're going to get on anyone's fire escape anywhere. Look at that. You're looking at the fire escape, and it looks like you're looking out at the ocean or at the Statue of Liberty. It is so good. And like, wait, it's just my neighbors behind me in a fucking fire escape. That's him. But the thing is that people believe him. Now, here's the thing. Let's just go back over presidents. Let's see. Let's go back to, we can go back to Bush 1. Do you think the Qataris would be offering Bush 1 a plane? No. Do you think the Qataris would be offering Bill Clinton a plane? No. Do you think the Qataris would be offering Ronald Reagan a plane? No. Do you think they would be up? You know why? Or Barack Obama?
Or did they offer Joe Biden an aircraft?
Joe Biden? But why? Because those people have values and they have morals, and they know that Donald Trump doesn't. Donald Trump is a criminal, and I'm not saying that it's criminal that he's doing that. He is a literal figuratively. I'm saying it figuratively, literally. He is a criminal. 34 counts over, and would be a bigger criminal had what? Those court cases had a chance to reach fruition and to go to court. But he became president. That's why he fought so hard. And so someone in the comments is right. I remember this. Hillary Clinton says self-sovereignty, couldn't accept a $400 necklace. And Donald Trump wants a $400 million airplane. And they know that they can do it because they know he's a criminal and they know that he can be bought. They know the other folks are not. So what does that mean? That means he's not a patriot. That means he doesn't abide by the Constitution. That means that he thinks he's above the law. And as I said, that means he is a criminal.
But Don, he knows he's above the law because the Supreme Court of the United States granted him that ability to be above the law, so long as he turns around and he does it in his opinion in the interest of national security. The interest of national security requires that he accept this aircraft. Boom. He's permitted to do it, and you can't bring an action against him for any reason whatsoever. He turns around and he says that Don Lemon is a threat to national security, very much like they're talking about the judge that turned around and said that you can't do that, so they locked him up, or they're sending off these migrants to places like Libya or Panama, the jungle, to an internment camp, or into El
Crazy.
Salvador. And they're doing it under the guise that it is national security, because I could make anything. Don, if you had a fucking apple pie sitting there on your table, I could turn around and say, I need to confiscate that pie for national security. And I just walk in and take it. For God's sakes, he can walk into any watch dealer, turn around and say, I'm taking that watch in the guise of national security. And so long as he uses those two words, national security, he legitimately feels he can do whatever he wants and get away with it. And this court, they're giving him a lot of that power. Though I do want to say the last couple of cases have not gone his way. And not because they have changed their position, but really because they see that he's becoming a threat to the judiciary as well. And they're making certain decisions now, not for the interest of us, not for the interest of the Constitution or for America's democratic republic, but they're doing it for their own self-interest and preservation.
Michael, he doesn't care. Look at you when you say that he's lost the last couple of cases, but what has he done? What repercussions has he faced?
Zero.
Has he had to reinstate? Maybe they had to reinstate some employees, but that went against the court. The courts went against him on that. They had to reinstate some employees, but they still fired thousands and thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah.
Look at what they said about bringing back Abrego Garcia. Is he back yet? Is
No.
he?
No.
Look at what they said about reinstating some of the money to some of the federal funding to USAID and other institutions. Have they done
Nope.
it?
Nope.
Okay.
And he has no intention of doing it. And then you get the administration, you'll get Pam Bondi, and you'll get others coming out and making the overt statement. You know how, Don, you know how you know that right now, and I hate being the guy all the time for doom and gloom. I'd rather be sitting here on the Lemon Cohen report talking about how Trump actually did two things that are beneficial to the world. Again, the release of Edon Alexander. Imagine if that was your kid who you thought was
Mhm.
deceased and now being returned to you, all right? And then the reduction of prescription prices. I'd be sitting there and saying, you know what? These are really good things, and let's hope and pray that it continues. But no, these are just like they're like road bumps. They're speed bumps into a 1,000-mile highway, and it's like 10 feet apart from each other. We have a long ways to go of nonsense before we're able to turn around and say things are good. What we do know is that things are bad. And can I give you the proof positive on how you know that things are fucked up, that the administration doesn't speak to each other? It's all lawless right now. When Laura Loomer agrees with Michael
Oh my
Cohen and
gosh.
Don Lemon.
Yeah. What is
Laura
happening?
Loomer agrees with you, agrees with me. That's how you know things are messed up.
And she's agreeing on what? That
She's agreeing on the fact that this acceptance of the plane is in a terrible, it shows just terrible judgment, and that it is dangerous. You know, you brought this up too, and I just want to expand on it. With nanotechnology today, how do you know that in that giant technological flying palace that they don't have, I don't know, an engine kill switch?
yeah.
Imagine that. You have the president, the vice president, you have the media on there, you have families, and so on. And some people may say, oh, good, I hope that happens. I don't hope that happens. I don't want to see that happen. Not to Trump, not to anybody. But imagine that they call up and say, we need you to do this right now, as they're flying over the fucking Indian Ocean. And they say, you have 5 minutes to fax to us your XYZ, right? Or we're going to hit a kill switch that's going to drop the airplane from 35,000 feet into the middle of the fucking ocean. All right? You have 5 minutes starting now. Click.
Yeah, that and tracking devices, surveillance,
Sure.
all kinds of things that it can be, that can be security issues that could be on that plane.
By the way, you know
Michael,
what? Cheyenne said something which is right too. Worse than over the Indian Ocean or over a city. Or over a city. Imagine the damage that would do. It is terrifying. It is.
yeah,
It's absolutely terrifying. What our folks are saying are things that Donald should be thinking. The enablers around him should be thinking and
Michael,
saying,
he's not thinking. He's like, oh God, that's a beautiful plane, and he's telling all his rich friends. And then when he's out of office and he doesn't have Air Force One, he doesn't have to go back to that piece of crap Trump plane, right? Because how old is that thing, and how much has it been? How many times has it been retrofitted? He doesn't have to go back to that. He has this fancy new plane that he can, fly around with his rich friends and brag about it and go play golf with them. He wants it for himself, and he's going to make sure that he gets it. Watch.
well,
Michael,
I'm with
thank you
you
for
on
the
that
Lemon
one.
Cohen report. I appreciate you joining today. I have to cut it short because I got some other stuff to do.
Well,
Um,
let me just say one last thing in closing, if I can, D. Lemon. If you
yes,
are a
sir.
subscriber to Michael Cohen, please subscribe to Don Lemon. And it's
Mhm.
under the Don Lemon Show when you
And
find
if
it.
you are a subscriber to Don Lemon, please subscribe to Michael Cohen.
The only way that we put an end to this stupidity once and for all, we must take back the House. We must take back the Senate. Our voices must resonate. They don't resonate with 1,000 people. So I'm asking to the 1,000 people that are with us right now, plus, share this with one person and tell them on Tuesday at 3 o'clock, you must tune in to the Lemon Cohen Report. You must do it. We will have 2,000, and then 2,000 will be 4,000, and on and on. And it will exponentially grow to the point that our voices cannot be drowned out. And we can only do it with your help.
Now, did I tell you this last time? And they told two friends, and they told two friends, and so
That's
on,
the
and
Brex
so
hair
on,
commercial, by the
and
way.
so on. That's a hair commercial from the
The
1970s. Was that
Brex.
the one with Farrah
Brex.
Fawcett?
Yeah, Brex. No, it was a
Oh,
bunch of different people. Oh my God, I love this product. And I told a friend, and I did, and so on, and so on. And then goes,
and
what?
so
So, yeah, yeah.
all right, guys, and
D
we have to take
Lemonade.
back. We've got to take our voice back to the media. We have to get media that's not bought, and we've got to get media that's not bought and paid for.
Not just media, our representatives too.
Yeah, independent media, guys. You have to support us and our representatives. And speaking of, watch me at 5 o'clock today. Come over to YouTube and watch my live stream on YouTube. And then Michael and I will see you next week. Same bat channel, same bat place at 3 p.m. Eastern time for the Lemon Cohen report.
You do know that you screwed that up, right? It's the
Same
same
bat
bat
channel.
time, same bat channel.
Okay. I'm not quite as old as you, Michael. I saw it in reruns. You saw the originals.
Amen. Later.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'll see you guys at 5 o'clock live on YouTube. Bye, everyone. Bye, Mike. Thanks, brother.
Later,
Love you.
D.
Bye. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never, ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.